have a new 3D printer. Let's design a dog bumper. So about 4 months ago, I got a K2 Plus, and at the time, that was the best bang for your buck. It had the most technology on it, the best technology. Since then, of course, they've gotten better and newer 3D printers, but this one does exactly what I needed to do. I searched for one that was, out of the box, useful. You don't have to have a lot of experience with 3D printers, just all around easy to use. And the K2 Plus checked a lot of those boxes. It's big, it's enclosed, it's quick. So it was absolutely the best 3D printer that I could get for the money and for my use at the time. So I've used it to death. It's always running. It's created my my background and my background set, the backdrop for all the videos. It's created that sign, the Banded Retrieve sign there, the LED sign, and a lot of other fun tools and little gadgets that I've made with it. But when I bought the 3D printer, I had this idea that I was going to design a dog bumper. Nothing special. I mean, there's not much you can do with them, but I had the idea of doing it. So today we're going to sit down in Fusion 360 and we're going to design a dog bumper. So let's go ahead and open up Fusion 360. I'm going to set my units from millimeters to inches. Millimeters is typically what you use in the 3D printing world, but for this, I know the standard inches, because you can see here I'm making a circle and I want to make it 2 inches in diameter. And then this is kind of going to be the middle of the bumper. So it's going to kind of be like a bone shape. It's going to have a small middle and then 2 larger ends that will be polygon shape. But I'm going to make that 3.5 inches, and I'm going to mirror this later, so you'll see why I put a 1.75 inches, 1 3/4. So I'm going to make another plane here, and I'm going to make it 1 1/4 inch. And this plane is basically going to house the polygon shape that will be the 2 ends of the bumper. So I'm going to create a sketch. And here I'm just going to make a circle to kind of give my polygon a reference of like where to stay. I want that to be roughly 3 inches in diameter. Now I'll create my polygon. Then here I'm going to create a loft. The loft is going to join that cylinder to the polygon. See there. I'm going to include the polygon shape. Now I'm going to extrude the end of the polygon, and this is going to be, like I said, the bone shape, the ends of the bumper. So I go back and forth on how long I want this bumper to be. So I'm just measuring it here to see what my total length's going to be, and then I make adjustments to the bumper or the design, so I can make it a little bit more manageable. I didn't want it over 12 inches long, which here it's going to be 13 inches long if I stuck with this design. But I shortened everything down a little bit, shortened down that center to 1.5 inches, which will be mirrored, which will make everything 3 inches in the middle, and then also shortening down the ends to 3 inches. So let's remeasure. Now it's 5 3/4. So here I'm going to just make a chamfer on all of the corners. Just going to round it out, take some of those harsh edges off of it. Then I just play around with how much I want to chamfer it. So that's 0.4. Went down to 0.3 a little bit. Settle on 0.4. Yeah, it looks good. Now we got 1/2 of the bumper, and basically we're just going to mirror the other half. Selecting what we want to mirror, selecting the face. There we go. We got us a dog bumper, man. Now on this end, I want to add a handle. So yeah, there we go. 11.5 inches total. I did my math wrong earlier, I think, but 11.5 inches long on the bumper. And to take out some of the weight and some of the print time, we're going to make this thing hollow on the inside. So they call it a shell. and it's not going to be completely hollow. It's not going to be completely solid. So just play around with some of the thickness on the inside. I'm going to turn down the opacity a little bit so I can see how hollow it is and how the core will be. Kind of drag that in and out. Settle on a 1/2 inch. In order to throw this bumper, I want to make a handle on it as well. And that's going to be out of TPU. So I'm just going to create another sketch on the face of the top of the bumper and add me a circle. Actually, I'm drilling a hole on this one. So place the hole in the middle, and you'll kind of see there's the hole type. I'm going to create a recessed hole, and the reason why is there's going to be a middle lip in there, and that way when I create the handle, it's going to have a little punch through. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about, but you'll push that handle through and it will grab onto that lip and it will stay locked in, so to speak. So we'll save you the details on this. Basically, it just becomes a drilled hole in there. So yeah, there we go. Now we have the body of the bumper. I'm going to change the appearance on it and kind of show you. It's gonna be orange, so change the appearance on it and pull it back into the 3D model, and then the opacity is still on there. I'm going to save this and start creating the handle. So now that we got the design, let's put it in the 3D printer and let's let it print. This is going to take quite some time, so you're probably going to see my clothes change. It's going to be the next day or next couple days before this thing actually gets through with the print, and we'll come back and we will do our own review on our designed dog bumper. So I'm back, and it's been probably a week since I've been working on this project, and it's taken that long for a couple different reasons. One, the print time was 28 hours for the print of just the bumper body, and then it was an additional 3 hours for the handle, and I ended up having to reprint them both for a couple different reasons. One reason was I came down here and I was doing some things, and I actually ended up hitting the power button on the surge protector, which shut down the power to the 3D printer, which kind of sucks, but I'm not that mad about it anymore because I get to show you what we designed, and this is the infill of the bumper, and so you kind of see how it builds up the solid part of the bumper, and then you can see the hollow core where we made that, designed that too. So I mean, it's doing exactly what we designed it to do, and you know, at least I knew that this was going to be nice and smooth. This was 14 hours into the print process, and I think it showed me like 62% complete, and so it did suck at the time, but I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and reprint it. I can use this as a paperweight and ultimately be able to show people what's inside of the final print. And the final print turned out really good. I'm super happy with this. Again, it's nice and sleek on the sides, not many ridges. You can't really tell that it has, you know, any rough spots. There are a couple spots here where you can kind of see maybe like a seam of where the machine kind of moved to reposition to go to the next layer. But overall, I'm really happy with it. This did print in the vertical position, so I think it had like, I want to say like 2,500 layers. So you can actually see the little lines and the different layers that built this up. I think it's really cool the way it did it. But as far as the weight of this goes, it's super awesome, man. I mean, it's kind of like squishy and not too firm, but you can see like I can actually push that in. I mean, this is what TPU is. You know, it makes it somewhat flexible, but the weight of it is nice. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. I think it's gonna throw really well. I have not thrown it yet, but I plan on doing that, and I'll show you some of that at the end of the video. And then as far as the handle goes, I was happy with the handle. The first handle that I started to print was the same orange TPU that I printed the body with, and not that that's a bad thing. I can't remember the company that makes this TPU, but I'll link it right here. But this also printed in the vertical position, and what happened was there's a support that goes up the back of it, and then it supports through this hole, and that support is only going to keep this from falling over. It's not going to keep it from swaying, and that's what it did. Was as the printer was moving its way up, this is very nice and smooth because it had some stability, but the farther it went up, kind of like an antenna, it started to shake as the printer was putting out the TPU and ultimately, you know, just like melting it on top of the next layer. And so I was actually watching it do it. I did allow it to go ahead and finish the print. I didn't know how bad it was going to be, but it is pretty rough. You know, additionally, once I took the support off, this actually ended up cracking and breaking off. And that's, I think, because the way that it printed, it's like I said, little layers on top of little layers. And so at the weakest point, it's going to snap, it's going to break. So I obviously had to reprint this, but during that week time, the week time frame that it took me to get everything printed, I went ahead and bought some more black TPU that is the same material as this, but it's not Creality TPU. I was having a problem with the Creality TPU, so I went ahead and bought more black TPU that is whatever, insert company name, I can't remember what it was, but this one turned out really good, and it actually ended up printing. It suggested that it print from the horizontal plane, and so it printed up like this, and this is going to make this a lot stronger. It did have a couple ridges on the back where it supported itself, but you know, it snapped right in just like we designed it to, and that thing is in there for good. It is not coming out. I mean, I had to have to take some pliers to actually pry that thing out. It's nice and flush on the side, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I challenged myself when I got my 3D printer that I was going to make some tools or training equipment that was relative to what I do. And so, yeah, this is a success for me. If you guys have ideas of things that you want me to print that is relative to the dog training world or the hunting or outdoors or anything like that, I'm considering making some attachments and accessories for my boat to go alongside the T-rail. That's the holding system that's on the gunnel of my boat. I'm going to be doing some of that stuff and posting them, so I'm probably just going to create a new series or a new playlist within the YouTube channel for 3D prints and outdoor specific 3D prints. So I'm going to be playing around with a lot of that stuff. I'm super stoked about these projects, but if you guys have ideas that you want me to try out, please leave a comment in the section below. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It supports us in ways that you don't even know watching these videos. I appreciate your time. that you give us to, you know, come into your homes, come into your lives, and show you these projects and these crazy videos that we pull together. So thank you so much. I'm gonna get outside and throw this for the dogs. It's actually a little wet and rainy, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway because I wanna get this video done and out and published out to you guys. So thank you for your time. We're gonna end with a couple of retrieves with we'll probably go with Mabel on this one. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next one.